Choosing passion over money sounds romantic until the moment comes when you're the one who has to pay the price. This isn't a success story. This is a story about choosing uncertainty over a life that looked safe from the outside. For the past few years, I've been making decent money. I can afford nice things. I can afford going out, having fun, enjoying life. I have everything a 21-year-old guy is supposed to have. But when I look back at high school, a time when athletes were our idols and money meant almost nothing, just something we used to buy a sandwich and juice during a break. I feel sad seeing how quickly we changed. Because of money, I never fully lived out my first love, tennis. As a kid, I used to sit in front of the TV, imagining it was me lifting the trophies, winning crowds, living that tennis dream. But I didn't have my family's support. They were raised differently. Study hard, get good grades, enroll in a good college, make good money, and let sports stay somewhere in the background, second, third, or maybe fifth place. Even though I was good at school, I decided to boycott the rest of elementary school, disappointed that I wasn't supported in tennis. And then came the turning point. I was 15, choosing a high school, a stressful moment for any young guy. And of course, under pressure from my family and friends, I enrolled in IT. You'll make good money, they said. Meanwhile, I was already quitting video games and completely uninterested in computers. I'm not gonna lie, the beginning was hard. I was surrounded by people who loved computer science. So no matter how hard I tried, I never stood out. It just wasn't my field. But then, I met a guy in my class, a tall, charismatic athlete who trained boxing. It didn't take long for me to go to my first boxing practice. So that gym, the smell of sweat, old punching bags, the ring, I'll never forget it. But my happiness lasted about a week, because my family didn't like the idea of boxing. So I had to stop. 2 summers passed, I had almost forgotten about sports. So I started asking myself, is this it? Am I going to be a programmer for the rest of my life? That summer, just after turning 17, I came across a boxer on Instagram, Canelo Alvarez. For days, I watched his highlights, the movement, the punches. The fire came back, so I decided to secretly start boxing again. In September 2021, I joined a new gym and went all in. For 6 months, I trained without telling my family. Then one day we sat at the table and I said, I want to be a boxer. I've been training for 6 months, I'm almost an adult, and you can't stop me anymore. Seeing that I was serious, they had to accept the fact that their kid would be getting punched in the head 5 days a week. And that's how my boxing career started. And it lasted about a year. Until the narrator of this video fell in love and took a 6-month break. After that, I tried to come back. I got injured, came back again, got injured again, so eventually I quit for the first time. And that decision haunted me for a year. People didn't know me as the boxer who won. They knew me as the boxer who quit. After high school, I decided to return to boxing again, this time in my third gym. I couldn't go back to the old one out of shame. I couldn't look my coach in the eyes, knowing how much I disappointed him. This second chapter lasted 3 months. That's how long I prepared before my first fight. Long story short, I wasn't ready. But since I never quit mid-fight, I pushed through to the end. The fight ended in a draw, and I injured my right hand. Disappointed with the result and the injury, I decided to quit boxing forever, or at least that's what I thought. That's when I started working as a waiter, and for a long time it became my main source of income. A full stomach and a full wallet. I became known as the waiter in my circle. Funny enough, I used to say I'd never do that job, but life writes its own memoirs. In the meantime, I lifted weights and played tennis. Boxing wasn't even in my dreams anymore. Then people from my past started asking questions. What happened to boxing? What happened to that guy who gave everything to the sport? What happened to the discipline, the clean lifestyle, the priorities? How did a guy whose life revolved around sport turn into a guy chasing money? And that was the first time my heart truly broke. I realized what I had become. A man with money, but without an identity. I couldn't admit that to myself right away, so I kept chasing money, until a few months ago, when one day I realized something very, very important. If I spend the next 5 to 10 years chasing money, I will probably never forgive myself for not fully trying to achieve my childhood dreams. But if I give myself a few years and go all in, maybe those dreams will come true. And even if they don't, I'll be proud of the effort and courage I gave. Because remember one thing, you are only young once, with a real chance to chase your dreams. And if you fail, you can always make money later. I'll end this video with a sentence my grandfather used to tell me when I was a kid. No matter what you do in life, you'll regret something. But if you don't do something, you'll regret that too. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.